unusual movement, global unrest, uncertainty, and more. Kick back, folks, and relax. This is your weekend report. Hey, I hope you have had another great week. I want to thank you for tuning in for the Earthquake Report. For the record, today is November the 6th, 2016. This video will speak of earthquake data and news spanning from October the 29th to today. It was on this day in 1988, when a magnitude 7.3 struck China. Get this. 3 events took place, just 9 seconds apart. 730 people were killed, 3,900 injured, 267,000 were left homeless, 29 reservoirs were severely damaged, and 67% of public buildings were destroyed in the Langkang-Manglian area. This is what's happening. The South Taurid Meteor shower was the talk of the sky this past week as photos of meteors were captured during this lengthy shower. The November Taurid Meteor showers are known as Halloween fireballs since they produce bright, slow-moving fireballs. In general, the Taurids are very bright. There may only be 5 per hour, but they normally amazing. That's their claim to fame. The Taurids peaked on November 4th and 5th. If you experienced the show, I would love to hear of your experience. Please post below. The Canadian military has investigated a mysterious pinging sound coming from the seafloor in a remote region of the Arctic. The strange noise was reported by locals to have frightened animals away over the past few months. A military aircraft conducted various multi-sensor searches in the area, but the military says it is so far unable to explain the cause of the acoustic anomalies. You can view these articles and more at our Facebook page. Feel free to zoom over there when you have a moment. You can find the link in the description. Alright. Earthquake report time. Here we go. For those interested, we closed October out with 7,894 earthquakes. As for last week, we clocked in 1,412. For historical reference, a year ago today, we clocked in 261 earthquakes. The strongest to strike the planet then was a 5.4 which struck Chile. Once again, we were presented with an incredibly interesting week. This was due in part to a series of powerful earthquakes, like a 6.6 that struck our pals in Italy on Sunday the 30th, and a 6.4 that struck Chile on Friday, November the 4th. The powerful 6.6 magnitude earthquake rocked central Italy on Sunday morning, injuring at least 20 people, in the strongest tremor to hit the country in more than 3 decades. The earthquake followed tremors generated the previous week and comes on the heels of a devastating quake in August, which killed nearly 300 people and flattened entire villages. Along with severe damage and disruption to the region, a rare geological phenomenon has unexpectedly emerged from the deep earth interior. A new mud volcano has formed this week in a field in Italian municipality of Santa Vittoria in Mitanano, following a recent increase in seismic activity. The volcano is located about 18.4 miles east of the magnitude 6.6 earthquake of October 30th, in the province of Fermo, Marche region. There are 6 active mud volcanoes in the neighboring municipality of Monteleone di Fermo, located along the River Et. Since the latest increase in seismic activity, all of them were reported to erupt clay, while another one was formed suddenly and with no prior warning, earlier in the week. Generally, the mud volcanoes likely represent an event of minor post-volcanic processes in the area where volcanism has been extinct for 30 million years. Their appearance is related to pressurized gas lift related to deposits of hydrocarbon and oil, or to the location in subduction zones. In Italy, the phenomenon is connected to underground deposits of organic material, natural gas, and hydrocarbon. When such material remains trapped in impermeable clay lenses, the considerable pressure causes fractures or pushes the material through areas of non-consolidated clay, dragging with it deep layers of silt, fossil water reserves or aquifers. As for the 6.4 that struck Chile on Friday, November the 4th, the quake had an epicenter located close to its border with Argentina. Witnesses reported that buildings were shaking in the city during the event. The epicenter of the 6.4 magnitude quake was located 108 miles south of Santiago at a depth of 49 miles. Fortunately, No reports of damage or injuries were made. Several unusual earthquakes were experienced in the United States as well. The first of which that we will discuss, struck Pawnee, Oklahoma on Wednesday, November the 2nd. The United States Geological Survey confirmed that a 4.5 magnitude earthquake struck around 11:30 p.m. that evening. The United States Geological Survey stated the earthquake's epicenter was 8.7 miles east-southeast of Pawnee. The earthquake hit about 162 miles west of Fayetteville and 167 miles northwest of Fort Smith. Residents in northwest Arkansas and the River Valley reported feeling shaking at their homes. This was the third earthquake stronger than magnitude 3.0 to hit on Tuesday. Tuesday's quake was centered about 25 miles southeast of the 5.8 magnitude earthquake that hit September the 3rd, which was the strongest in Oklahoma state history and damaged homes. We followed it up with a 4.0 that struck Laytonville, California earlier this morning. This shallow earthquake occurred at 5 a.m. Pacific time, at a depth of 0 miles. The epicenter was 41 miles from Ukiah, 70 miles from Fortuna, and 72 miles from Clar Lake. In the last 10 days, there have been 2 earthquakes of magnitude 3.0 or greater centered nearby. We next turn our attention to Warrenton, Oregon, where a 3.5 struck on November the 2nd. Initially measuring as a 3.8, but soon revised, the epicenter was measured about 10 miles from Astoria. It shook the ground around 7:52 a.m. For those near the New Madrid seismic zone, you'll be interested in learning that a new study in Kentucky indicates that the United States Geological Survey maps overstate the earthquake hazard for the region. As a result, overly stringent building codes and policies have been imposed on residents and businesses, according to the Kentucky Geological Survey at the University of Kentucky. Mike Lynch, a spokesman from the university, states that there aren't a lot of earthquakes of any significant size in the New Madrid seismic zone. The study says the overstated hazard for the central United States has led to reduced economic development, higher insurance costs, and that it is recommending that the hazard map be revised. With that being said, I would love to know if you agree or disagree with this study. Near my location in North Carolina and along the North American Craton, residents were rocked last week with a series of earthquakes near Cherokee. This area experienced 4 weak quakes in the early hours of Sunday morning. 3 of those earthquakes were a magnitude 2.2. The fourth was slightly weaker, measuring a 2.1 on the Richter scale, because it happened further below the Earth's surface. At least 1 quake rattled part of East Tennessee for the second time in a week as well. The United States Geological Survey recorded a 2.6 magnitude earthquake shortly after midnight Sunday on the boundary of Monroe and Loudoun County northwest of Tellico Lake. Viewers called in shortly after the quake, saying they felt shaking and heard what sounded like a loud explosion. This is the second earthquake recorded in East Tennessee in the last week. On October 25th, a similar magnitude 2.9 earthquake shook the Louisville area. The United States Geological Survey states that this type of seismic activity is not uncommon, as thousands of small earthquakes happen across the country on any given month. And that's it for the earthquake report. If you experienced an earthquake today, or if you would simply like to chat, please post down below. I would like to hear from you. Feel free to post about anything that is on your mind. Make certain to like, subscribe, and share this video. Also, if you like the social media thing, you can link to us via the standard allotted social sites in the description. We'll end this report with a video feed from our favorite star. Have a great day.